Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. It is that time of month again where I go through what I personally believe are the top projects on the Wax blockchain. Again, this is my personal opinion, and I focus not on sales volume, not on activity, number of accounts that are playing, not those kind of numbers. So if you want that kind of ranking, go ahead and check Twitter. There's new ones every single day. What I'm focused on for this list are what I consider long-term, enjoyable, entertaining projects and games that provide either a lot of entertainment and they're going to be here for a very long time, or a lot of utility and are also going to be here for a very long time. These are what I consider the best projects to take a look at if you're jumping into a project within the Wax blockchain. Having said that, this is also not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own research before you jump into any projects. Don't just look at this list and jump into all top 10 that I mentioned blindly. Make sure they are, that they are right for your current situation and what you're looking to get into. Play a game to enjoy a game, not just to be a clicker. All right, let's go ahead. We got through the disclaimer. I let you know what this is based on. Again, my personal opinion. I encourage anyone, if I don't have something on the list that or a game that you think should be on the list, go ahead in the comments down below and make any suggestions. If I haven't played it yet, obviously I'll go ahead, and I appreciate the feedback, and I will go ahead and try every game that's on the Wax blockchain. I'm trying to do that, trying the best I can, obviously depending on what kind of games they are. There are a few style games that I won't go into right here that I won't play, but there's whole other videos on that, and you can go ahead and check that out. Now that we have all that out of the way, and before we jump into the actual top 10 list, let's go ahead and a quick word and thank you to our sponsor for this month's video, Alcor Exchange. They just released the version 2.0 of the Liquidity Pool. Highly encourage you to check it out. It is basically it's revolutionizing the way liquidity is done within not just the Wax blockchain but all blockchains. It has a unique feature to it where instead of going from the price that you put in there, in most exchanges for the liquidity pool, is from 0 to infinity. What this does, it allows you to limit that range, which makes it more efficient and makes it really a better chance at getting better results from it. Again, pure speculation. Don't really take my word for it as far as exact results or guarantees that you're going to get from it. The design and the logic behind it is sound, so I encourage you all to check it out as far as the liquidity pool goes, and it's just a smarter, better way to do liquidity pools. All right, we have that out of the way, so let's go ahead and jump in here. I have 3 honorable mentions. These 3 honorable mentions are really projects to keep an eye on. They're very early in the development stage, so they aren't necessarily really on the market as far as too much playing is available. But there's things that I think in 2023, once they are available, they are games that could potentially be on the top 10 here. There's a lot of reasons behind it. I'll try and skim through those. And then we'll go ahead and dive into the top 10 list itself for the Wax blockchain of games that are currently available for you to go ahead and play. First of all, the first game that's on the honorable mention here is a game that I've covered in the past here. It is Afterland. This is a game that's a first-person shooter game that also has will have a lobby ingredient to it that allows you to do a lot of crafting. That's more like the land aspect of it. I've done a video on this that actually goes through and actually plays through the game itself, at least what they have available in their closed alpha, closed beta. I forget which one it is, but it's closed, so there's not a lot of people that are able to play it yet. It's a fun game, but I'm really interested in taking a look at the lobby side. If they nail the lobby side, I think this could be a easy top 10 project on Wax. There are some question marks as far as what they're allowing to go on in the Discord, which I won't dive into right now. I hope they improve that side of it, but as far as the game itself, it's going to be a very interesting one to keep an eye on. Next on the list, we have Nook Studios. They already have the Mining Architect out there, which I think is a solid mining style game that's available. I don't know if I'd necessarily call it a game yet. That's why I actually kind of removed them from the top 10 list. But I wanted to make sure that we keep them on our radar because they have Blockchain Chronicles that's coming out here soon. That is a solid game that I expect to be a candidate for the top 10. The reason it hasn't come out yet, it was actually supposed to come out a few months ago. What they did was they realized as they're playing through the alpha version of it that it still had a lot of transactions and didn't feel necessarily like a game. It felt more like a blockchain transaction creator. So they went back and they redesigned some of it, and they're going through the testing process now. So it feels more like a game and less like a transaction clicker. And I don't necessarily know all the gameplay that goes with it, but I'm expecting it to be a strategy, skill-based style game. So keep an eye out for that. They also have the Eskimo Run to Gnome and the Octane 98 that will be coming out here also this year. So there's a lot coming from the Nook Studios that you should be aware of and keep an eye on. All right, the next one on the list is actually one that has not been mentioned much at all by me or by anyone. It's still very early in the development stage. The clip we're getting here is from the team themselves actually just testing it out and going the different functionality. It is called Rogue Planet. It's going to be a 3D PvP style space age shooting game. You can go ahead and run around. You're fighting these different aliens. You're trying to collect what they drop. There's going to be crafting involved. You're going to be able to get your own residence. It's going to be something to definitely keep an eye out for. I know they're going to be kicking off the initial beta or the closed beta here soon. If you have one of the passes, it looks really neat. I'm excited to go ahead and check this out, and I think you should keep it on your radar. Join their Discord so you can keep an eye on what's going on with this one. All right, now let's go ahead and actually get into the games that I personally think are top 10 on the Wax blockchain. I should rephrase that, projects, because there's some on here that are more utility side than they are actually gameplay side. So let's go ahead and jump in with number 10, which is a familiar face on the list, and this is Realm. Realm, they were huge at the beginning of this year. They were my top 10, or number 1 on this list. Late last year, early this year, when they expanded the seasons from 6 weeks to 12 weeks, they kind of slid off a little bit. The reason that they're doing the longer seasons now is because they're focused on something much bigger. Nothing has been said about it, at least not that I'm aware of, but it's going to be interesting to keep an eye on this project. So I don't necessarily think the downturn in participation in the seasons is a bad thing, because they have something big coming up. They have a solid game. If they did switch it back to a 6-week season, I'd probably jump right back into it. It's a fun game. It's a little bit grinding, but it's a good strategy resource-based game, and it comes in at number 10 on my list. Number 9 on my list is a newcomer to the list, and this is something that's been around for a very long time. It's one of the longest tenured games on the Wax blockchain, but it's actually finally become a game. Colonized Mars has just released a brand new gameplay part to it, and let me go back here. It was, for the very long time, it was a staker style project. You staked your NFTs, you earned the in-game resource, and that's all you did with it. Recently, they dropped the gameplay for it, which is a very resource-intensive base game. It is a little too complex for new players to dive right in there, so that's, I think, one of my biggest struggles with ranking this higher. But it's a solid game. If you have the Wax to put into it, because it's also going to be rather pricey to jump in there to get higher than just the commons, and it's hyped up right now. But it's an interesting game, and I can see how a lot of people are getting really into this. So that's why it comes to number 9. I think if they make it a little bit more user-friendly for new players jumping in there, which they're trying to do with a whole bunch of tutorial videos, I think that'll help it a lot. If you're in there and you understand the gameplay itself, I understand why you're super excited about this game. But as of right now, until there's some adjustments with those, it's number 9 on my list, but it has the opportunity to move up much further on my list. Next, we have Nova Pangea, again, another staple for this list. Nova Pangea just added the level 3 town hall. They have the token in game, which was a big thing that I was looking forward to for 2023. They're also working on the PvP style, which is basically going to pit the realms against each other with specific resources for each realm. So you either have to work together or you have to fight each other. So there's some cool things that are really coming here in the short term. or in the near term, I should say, with Nova Pangea. So you definitely want to keep an eye on this. Right now, I do have it as number 8 on my list. Again, definitely has potential to jump up that list once the gameplay, the storyline. It's got one of the coolest art styles that you can find on Wax. So it is staying here steady, number 8 on my list, and I'm excited about it. Next on the list is more of a project overall rather than a specific game right now, and that's Wombat. Wombat has 3 parts to it right now. It has the Dungeon Masters, and if we were just focused on Dungeon Masters, I probably wouldn't have it on my top 10 list. But if you look at it as a whole, you look at it has the Wombat wallet, we have Dungeon Masters, we have Dungeon Worlds, which is coming out here shortly, the WAM play. As a whole, it has a lot of utility to it, and there's going to be a lot of interesting things that come in Dungeon Worlds. So you have both for Dungeon Masters, you have the easy clicker. For Dungeon Worlds, you're going to have a lot more strategy involved with it. And then you have the utility with WAM Play and the wallet. And that's why this jumps here on number 7 on the list. I could see an argument for actually making it higher on the list with all the utility that's involved in it. But I'm going to have to stick with that until I see how they roll out Dungeon Worlds. Dungeon Worlds is supposed to roll out here as far as the rest of it. Right now, the training's available and the mining's available, but it's very simplistic. So once we see over the next few months how that rolls out, this could definitely jump possibly in the top 5, if not top 3. But it's really hard to get in the top, I would say 4 right now on this list. But this has a potential depending on how they roll out Dungeon Worlds. All right, next on the list, we got Farming Tales. Farming Tales has been up and down all over this list. New Axchester has been a great addition to the game itself. They recently did just a tractor race, and unfortunately it did not have the turnout that everybody had hoped it would, even with the awesome rewards that they had for it. They're going to be rolling out a lot more features to this game here in the near future. That'll make it a lot more interesting, also a little bit more user-friendly. This, at one point in time, was a top 3 for me. It has slid just a little bit back to number 6 for me right now. But there's still huge potential with that connection between the farm, real life, and the virtual farm, plus New Axchester starting to really come together with the games, with the multiplayer games that they're going to be adding. I think the biggest hiccup and the reason it's not still top 3 for me is because the new player entry side of it, which is a little tougher. I've tried to make a lot of beginner guide videos to help that. It's just there's a lot of moving parts in it. So I think they're working on some things that will help that and really develop that along the way. All right, so Farming Tales is number 6 on my list. Still a fun game. Still, it's not just the clicker farming games that you're used to on Wax. You actually play the game, which is nice. And the multiplayer, the tractor race, there's going to be more multiplayer games coming in there. So a lot of fun with this one. All right, next on the list, and number 5 on the list, is this one has actually moved up several spots since last month, and that is Outlaw Troopers from FGL. This is going to be an overall project, not just one specific game, but I wanted to call out one specific game because I think this is the workhorse for FGL. FGL as a full, game set, you could say, or full studio, has a lot of interesting features to it. They have also Cosmic Clash and Mecha World, which I right now feel like satellite games that feed into Outlaw Troopers. But I think they're going to develop more and more in the future. Outlaw Troopers just has the majority of the gameplay itself. It has some skill base to it, has a lot of strategy to it. And then the neat thing with FGL is their token is used across all 3 games. And also NFTs are used over games too. For example, Mecha World, the mechas can be used in Outlaw Troopers. Your ships from Cosmic Clash can be used in Outlaw Troopers. So it gives you some multi-gameplay with individual NFTs. So I think that's a really big selling point. They continue to add to Outlaw Troopers. It's kicked off the most recent season and added a bunch of nice things to it. So I really enjoy this one, and that's why it comes in number 5. It's actually moved up quite a bit since it originally jumped on the list. I think when I first started taking a look at it, I think this was 9 or 10, but it's now number 5 on the list. And if they continue to develop as a whole project with all the different games and incorporating all the games together. I think this is a solid project to take a look at if you're looking for a new project on the Wax blockchain. All right, next, number 4, and this again is a staple. This is more of a utility with some gameplay, and it's Taco Universe. Taco Universe has a lot of different things, and I think this will always be a top 5 unless they do something really, really silly. They have a lot of utility with the Taco Swap, also the different apps that they have for iOS that allow you to really chime into or click into other games. They also have a few games themselves, Brigade, which is a clicker, understandably, and they also have Cryptio, which is a lot more of a strategy-based game, which they've done a lot of improvements on it. So if you're looking for a game just for your pastime, like you're in a waiting room or you're a passenger in a car traveling somewhere and you have 15-20 minutes to go ahead and play a game, Cryptio is a perfect game for you. It's a nice strategy game, and you earn a lot of NFTs through it. Just the overall utility, they work well with other projects, with their collaborations. This is one that's going to be here for a long period of time, at least my pure speculation, what I believe personally. And the tokens are used through all the different aspects of the game, whether it's through a Cryptio of the game, through their venues, or you're earning them from the extractors. There's a lot of different ways that you can really utilize the utility of the Taco Universe. And now we're getting to the top 3, and the top 3 are, I guess the top 4, we'll say the top 4, I think are the winners of their specific categories. Like I said, Taco is the winner of the utility category. It is the cream of the crop when it comes to utility on the Wax blockchain. The next one, number 3, is Warsaken. It is the number 1 card game, I believe, on the Wax blockchain. So if you are a fan of the card style games, even though you may not be a fan of the war style games, you may want to check out this because it is the best card game that's out there. It's streamed a lot. It's actually a pretty small team that's behind it. I could be wrong that they may have grown, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But it's just a solid format. It's a great strategy game. A lot of people are loving just playing this. If you're not familiar with the game, I still need to go ahead and do a gameplay review for myself. But if you want to take a look, there's a lot of great streamers out there that go ahead and stream this. So I encourage you to check them out. So this is definitely the best card game and is number 3 on my list. Always has an opportunity to move up. Number 2 on my list, again, I've talked about this a lot. It is the number 1 first-person shooter game on the Wax blockchain, and this is Forged Arena. If I was more of a first-person shooter game, this may move up to number 1. But I have to give it the credit where credit's due. It is without a doubt one of the best games on the Wax blockchain. They just teamed up with a AAA studio, which makes it super interesting because they're doing a lot of great things on the Web 3.0 level as far as the game itself. And I think this teaming up with a AAA studio is really going to take this into the Web 2.0 arena and make it really visible as far as the features and really bring a lot of attention to the Wax blockchain. So this is super cool. Also, they're on Epic Games. I can't say enough about Forged Arena as far as what they've done, both for their game itself and also the Wax community, really helping people get looped into the Wax community. All right, number 1 on my list should not be a surprise. And again, this is number 1 on the list is still in alpha. I can't really stress that enough. They are without a doubt the most complete game on Wax, still in alpha. They completed phase 1 of alpha. They're moving into phase 2. If you didn't see my video last week, they're actually they're making a collaboration with Atomic Hub to do a phase 2 of alpha, really push and get people aware about our Avalon. I don't think enough people give enough credit or attention to Avalon yet because it's actually a game. It's actually a game you have to jump in there and work a little bit at. Most people on the Wax blockchain, and I'm not discrediting anyone, are so focused on or so used to clickers where they only have to click it once a day and that's what they consider a game. This is a true game. This has a lot of potential. They are teaming up with they're almost through the approval process to join Epic Games. They are already in talks with Nintendo and PlayStation and Xbox. They have a collaboration with Microsoft as far as for the cloud and also other resources. They have great storylines behind it. The art style is good now for alpha. It will improve in beta as they go to Unreal 5. The gameplay and the questing that's already in there, the raids that are already in there, are very entertaining. And there's so much more to come with it. I talked to them quite a bit just to try and learn what's going on. And I think every single week they have a whole laundry list of accomplishments and things that they're working on that's super exciting. Backed by a studio, Danu Studios. I can't say enough about the project. I really can't. If you like fantasy-style multiplayer games where you can go in there and really just battle. There's a ton of strategies that you could do. You could be a gatherer, you could be a battler, you could be a business owner, you could be a land mogul with all the buildings, and you can just run around and have some fun with your clan or your guild mates. I can't say enough about the game. So number one on my list for the top Wax games and projects for May 2023 is Avalon. Easily Avalon, hands down. All right, let's go through the list. Number 1 is Avalon the game. Number 2 is Forge Arena. Number 3 is Warsaken. Number 4 is Taco Universe. Number 5 is FGL as an overall project focused on Outlaw Troopers. Number 6 is Farming Tales. Number 7 is Wombat as a full studio with their Dungeon Masters, Dungeon Worlds, and WAM Play plus their wallet in there. What are we at here? Number 8 is Nova Pangea. Number 9 is Colonized Mars. And number 10, wrapping up the list, is Realm. And some of the honorable mentions that I highly encourage you to keep an eye on is Afterland. Also Inuk Studios with the games that they're going to be coming out with here shortly. And last but not least is Rogue Planet, a game that we haven't really talked about much, but we will be talking about quite a bit when I can actually jump in the game and play it. So lots of great things happening on the Wax blockchain. And again, encourage you to check out Alcor Exchange with their new liquidity pools. Let me know down in the comments below, did I miss any? Do you think any should be on this list that I didn't include? If you think it should be on the list, please let me know why you think it should be on the list. Don't just say you missed X, Y, and Z. Your list stinks. Let me know. If it's legitimate, obviously I'll take a closer look at them for the June top project list. If I haven't tried it out yet, obviously I'll go ahead and try it out. But let me know in the comments below. I hope you all enjoy these lists. I hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.